Today I'm here with a special guest. We have Hrid Patel, CS student.
U of T CS has a crazy reputation. It's known as like the deadliest major you can do.
Do you know how to make an app? I was asking because last year my friends and I were trying to figure out how to do it. It's fucking impossible.
It is very difficult. AI is very interesting. It has a lot of applications. I'm taking a few courses on it right now, actually.
There's a 10-year time lag on technology.
Right.
So to think that this stuff was already created a while ago,
Oh, yeah,
now
definitely
it's
was.
just accessible to everybody. If this level of artificial intelligence already existed in like 2013, 2015, what could possibly exist now that like we don't know about?
Exactly.
You're big time into music.
Music has been an integral part of my family just because, I mean, my dad, he's like, I don't want to say obsessed, but he's like, it's like one of the biggest parts of his life, probably music and family. So by the time I was like 7 or 8, my dad was like really encourage us to sing. Because the thing is, I mean, this is going to sound terrible, but India loves copying America. So it's like in terms of culture and everything.
If you got approached by like a record label and they were like, Hrid, we can't use your real name as your artist name. You need a cover name. What are you choosing?
You know, if I was ever like a rapper or something like that,
Yeah.
probably go with Bebelicious.
Bebelicious.
Yeah. Single, ready to mingle. What else can I say?
There you go. Hit him up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the VoV podcast, Voices of Vic. Today I'm here with a special guest. We have Hrid Patel, CS student, second year? Third year, same as me. Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast, man. Good to have you on.
God, I'm glad to be here, yeah.
You came in very sharp. The hair's looking nice.
Thank you.
CS student. I feel like you're one of the few CS students that like, you know, keeps himself well put together. There's a stereotype that goes around.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, CS students kind of known to be kind of like, you know, contained to themselves. They're like toxic, as some people might want to say. But yeah, I try and like exude a personality, which is low standard, but I don't know. I try and pass that, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Do you ever get heat? Do your friends ever make fun of you, or most of your friends in CS too? Maybe?
Actually, most of my friends are in CS,
Okay,
but yeah, I'd say we're better than the stereotype for sure.
Last year, there was a post I saw on U of T memes account about a professor that was emailing the entire Mat 137 class about taking care of their hygiene because someone complained.
Yep.
It's funny. But once again, every program gets some hate, undeserved hate.
Definitely, yeah.
Rotman deals with a lot of it. I dish out a lot of Rotman myself. But yeah, no, it's interesting. How do you find U of T's CS program so far?
Well, actually, U of T CS has a crazy reputation. Already it's known as like the like deadliest like course or whatever like major you can do. Like I have cousins in the States. They came here like after a couple of years and they're like, oh, what program are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing U of T CS. They're like, wow, that is like the hardest program you could possibly do.
Yeah.
I'm like, you even know that? You don't even live in this country? They're like, yeah, like that's just like the rap about it. So yeah, it doesn't have has a bad rap about that, but yeah, it's all right. You just kind of got to keep your head down and stay focused.
How have you found like the practicality of what you're learning? I feel like a lot of it is kind of hard to understand how you might use this to, you know, go into business or get hired. Like I feel like U of T's computer science is very high end. Like if you wanted to learn more like how to make an app, you wouldn't be going to U of T. U of T would teach you more like how to program like spaceships and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually I'd agree. U of T is like generally more of a research school, I would say. So a lot of the stuff we learn is it's a lot about like theory. It's like the theory behind how would a program be the most efficient, or how do you analyze a program. You know, you spend, I'd say, maybe like half of your courses doing like how to write the code. The other half is like you know, analyzing code, theorizing about it, different ways of like looking at it. It's like very high level. And yeah, like right now, let's say this semester in particular, I didn't take any of my theory courses, but I have 2 of them next semester, and people are telling me that made a grave mistake because, you know, those courses are like the killer, the worst courses of your 4 years here. So yeah, even last year I had 2 courses like that, all about theory. It's just like papers, proofs, and things like that. So I don't think you do that a lot outside of U of T, but I mean, that's kind of the U of T way, the U of T approach of doing courses and teaching. So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot about that, not a lot of practical stuff. Like, for example, I'd say my friends, some of them go to Waterloo or like Laurier. They do a lot more hands-on stuff, like the stuff that I've learned so far. They've learned that much and more, but less theory in the same time.
Got it.
So yeah, I feel like it's kind of a U of T thing, I think.
Do you think you need that theory as like a base knowledge of how to work yourself in the CS space? Like once you're going to go out into the work field and the workforce, do you think that makes you a more valuable, I guess, programmer? Like what are you looking to become with the degree?
I'm my goal has always been to like write programs, write code that's gonna someday make like a meaningful impact. Sounds corny, but like that's just always been my mindset about it.
That's
and
good. That's good. Yeah.
yeah, so the theory, personally, I've always, I mean, it sounds mean, but it's felt useless to me. It's like, if I'm ever going to write a paper, if I'm ever going to try and invent or discover something new about coding or programming, something new in this space, then yeah, I would say the stuff that I've learned is very useful. But personally, for me, I just want to like create stuff. I don't want to invent or research or discover things. So for me personally, it's not like something that would be useful, but I could see for certain people it would be.
Yeah, there's an interesting balance between like innovation and creation.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of U of T, what theory is, I think why they teach you theory is because they want you to innovate and they want you to push beyond the boundaries of where the world is right now. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is that there's a far higher chance that you spend your entire career like aimless and like you don't actually accomplish anything. I know it sounds terrible to say, but it's not like every single person who's going to attempt to break boundaries and innovate is going to succeed. You know what I mean? Whereas the people who are learning more applicable things, I think that you still need a bit of that innovative mindset. How can I use the existing knowledge to kind of to create something with the resources I have? Whereas theory allows you to get new resources, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like break those barriers.
I actually had one of my high school teachers. I've gone back a couple times to like do some alumni events and whatever. But she was telling me one day she's she knew somebody who was in admissions back in the day, like a few years ago, and they apparently, could be just speculation, but she was telling me that apparently they take so many students at U of T and then weed them out towards the end. But the main goal is that they take so many is that, you know, sure, they'll be spending a lot of money to teach so many kids, but they're hoping that by the end of their program or even later when they're doing research with U of T, they make some kind of breakthrough and they get like a really expensive patent, you know?
Yeah.
And that'll like cover the costs of everything else. Like that's kind of their approach to admissions. But I mean, could be speculation. Obviously, there's nothing to confirm such a thing, but it would add up with the way U of T teaches and the kind of the mindset you see a lot of the things that they want you to know and the way they want you to think about problems.
Yeah. It's quite the risky game, honestly.
Oh yeah, it's like a big risk and reward for them.
Yeah. Do you know how to make an app?
I can write a code, but I can't actually write like an app that you use on your phone.
I was asking because last year my friends and I were trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And we thought that we could like watch some YouTube videos and kind of figure it out. It's fucking impossible.
It is very difficult.
It seems way easier than it actually is.
Yeah, there's a huge barrier to entry for that.
Yeah. When you're scrolling Instagram, you're like, all right, this is pretty basic, you know, scroll feature, a few buttons, messages. Exactly. But when you actually think, okay, I need to write in whatever the language is, C++, Java. I don't even know what they use for that.
Right.
Python. Python's not a language, is it?
No, Python is a language.
Python is a different language. Okay. It's crazy what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And like, once again, just to circle back, your friends, you said were at Waterloo and where else, sorry?
Waterloo and the Laurier, they're doing like a double degree there.
Okay.
Most of my friends are doing either just Waterloo CS or the business CS double degree with Laurier.
Got it.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know much about those programs, but I feel like other schools outside of U of T might focus more on like, how can you be effective with programming right now?
Exactly. Like how can you actually like be the most well-rounded person to apply your skills in this moment, not in the future.
Yeah. 100%.
Definitely.
It's an interesting problem for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think about AI?
AI is great. I think it's sort of like a big buzzword. I think it got named Word of the Year for 2023 just yesterday. So it's clearly like a big topic, but actually I think that it's an overused word. Sometimes it's like, oh, we used AI to do this, but it's like an algorithm. It's not actually AI. It's not learning or anything. It's just something that's just reiterating over something over and over. But AI is very interesting. It has a lot of applications. I'm taking a few courses on it right now, actually, and it's very interesting what you can do with it. And can't say that I don't use it myself. Shout out ChatGPT.
Shout out to ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is the realest. When nobody got you, ChatGPT got you.
The best TA out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've been talking about AI for like the last 3 podcasts in a row. I don't know. I feel like when we look back 50 years from now, I feel like this is really the moment where it really is like you said, buzzword of the year. It's getting started.
This is when it's gonna blossom, right?
Exactly, and it's out in the public. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I always say that there's a 10-year time lag on technology.
Right.
So to think that this stuff was already created a while ago,
Oh, yeah,
but now
definitely
it's
was.
just accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's the case? Like, do you think that if this level of artificial intelligence already existed in like 2013, 2015, what could possibly exist now that like we don't know about?
Exactly. Like I took a machine learning course in the summer, and I had no idea, but a lot of those concepts apply in AI. But those things have been like in development since like the 80s and the 70s. It's crazy. But the stuff that we use now is like has built on those foundations. But still, a lot of the stuff like neural networks, which is what I think ChatGPT runs on primarily, that concept was developed in the early 2000s. So it's kind of crazy to think that it was, and the idea came such a long time ago, but it's taken a while for it to become what it is today. So I can't even imagine what there is now with what we know right now. And, you know, all this stuff like ChatGPT, they're just collecting data to either improve their model or make their model even smarter than it can be. So I don't know, give it 5-10 years and ChatGPT can be like leaps and bounds beyond what even humans are capable of. I wouldn't be surprised.
100%.
Yeah.
Are you worried about your program? I ask
CS?
people this. CS, like, is CS at risk of artificial intelligence? They created something that's going to ruin their own work.
Well, in its current state, as somebody who's used ChatGPT to debug some programs, I'm not gonna say all of them, but a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there. Oftentimes, it'll overlook a lot of small things. Like, for example, even small things that like we would notice in first year. I think it would get those. Like first year, small bugs and fixes. Yeah, sure. But if it's ever a bigger issue, it struggles a lot. So I don't know, but I think with the data they're collecting, I'm sure there's like thousands and hundreds of thousands of people submitting code to it. So I don't know, probably give it 5 years and they'll probably be on par with what we are capable of. So it's worrying, but somebody's got to code the ChatGPT too. So I mean, there's
100%.
always going to be somebody who's needed for that. So I'm not too worried, but I'm more worried about getting there first.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I was listening to Joe Rogan and Elon Musk the other day. It just came out on Halloween.
Right.
And Elon Musk is so interesting to listen to when you talk about
definitely.
AI, because I feel like he has a bit of like a doomsday approach to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which you don't want to believe him, but then again, you don't know.
He's probably right.
Yeah, you don't know as much as Elon, right? Like we're definitely not as aware of what's going on than he is.
Yeah.
But something he was talking about is that the only reason that you should be worried about AI is to fear the people that are putting the code in. Like, what are they coding into this? Because when you think of like AI seeing human life as a nuisance, right? That would be the idea. Like, look
like
at
Ultron
these
from Avengers.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look at these inferior creatures, whatever. They're
Right.
polluting the earth. They're doing all this shit. They kill each other. They have wars, terrible things. Let's just get rid of them because they cause a lot of problems, which humans do. Humans cause a lot of problems. But that's where the issue becomes. Like, do you code these robots, essentially, artificial intelligence, to value human life, or do you code them to be more like, what's the word? Not existentialist, but
I guess more aware and cautious of sort of their upbringing, if that's such a thing for them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a movie I just watched called The Creator. Have you heard about that?
Oh, I've seen the posters for that. I do really want to watch it.
It's
I
good.
haven't watched it yet.
Highly recommend. It gives a great perspective on all that stuff, but it's very interesting. To circle into a more creative aspect, hopefully AI doesn't fucking mess with this either.
Yeah.
You're big time into music.
I try to be. Yes.
I was listening to your songs. I was listening to your covers. It's pretty good.
Thank you. I
and I don't even speak the language. Like I don't know what language it is that you cover.
Well, Bollywood music is primarily in Hindi, so yeah, lots of Hindi.
So it sounds nice. I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds nice.
Oh, that's great.
How did you start into that? You started really young.
Yes. So my dad, he immigrated here in 1994, I want to say, but he's not like he's self-taught. And he's back home in India. He used to sing for like weddings and things like that. So when he came here, like back then, there was an Indian community, but not quite so large. But he still used to go to events and stuff and sing for them. You know, like it's like doing gigs and stuff, right? But So yeah, then after my mom came, and then after my sister was born, she's 2 years older than me, then I was born. And so like music has been an integral part of my family, just because I mean, my dad, he's like, I don't want to say obsessed, but he's like, it's part of his life. It's like one of the biggest parts of his life, probably music and family, two of the biggest parts of what makes him tick every day, right? So yeah, by the time we were growing up, I've heard so many songs, like primarily like Bollywood songs, I would say. And yeah, so by the time I was like 7 or 8, my dad would like really encourage us to just to sing. There's actually a YouTube channel of me and my sister, and he used to record us on a camcorder, just singing in our bedrooms and stuff. Like he'd be like, sing this song, and he'd like coach us a little bit, right? And be like, sing it like this, sing like that, get the note right, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna reveal that channel because it is very, very embarrassing when I look back at it now. But yeah, so 7, 8 years old, I started singing like that, and yeah, I've never ever really stopped since. And yeah, I know I'm like so many Bollywood songs, but not the ones that people my age would typically listen to because of like my dad and my parents. Like we're strong in Indian culture, even though like I was born and raised here. So yeah, I'm like an old head on new shoulders. I know 70s, 80s, 90s songs like the back of my hand. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm big time into, I don't know, 70s. I like going all the way back like 60s. Sometimes 60s shit, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. I
feel like people like that kind of old-timey feel.
Oh,
It makes
yeah,
them feel
definitely.
like retro, back when the world wasn't as like wild as it is now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was I going to ask you?
Yeah, I have a lot of songs, even on my Spotify playlist. I have old Bollywood songs from the 60s. I think the oldest songs I have is from the 50s, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I have a few from the 60s, but primarily 70s, 80s, 90s. That was like the golden era of Bollywood music.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I had a bus driver, an Indian bus driver,
Yeah.
going in high school, and she would rock that shit in the
Yeah.
morning
Nice.
every morning. We got picked up at 6:30 a.m. So
Oof.
like from 6:30 to 8, Bollywood music
Oh,
every
nice.
single day.
Nice,
So
yeah.
I definitely have my fair share to kind of consume it. It's pretty good stuff.
It's good. It's very different to Western music.
Completely different.
It's like there's very like if you do
You got to get used to it. That's for sure.
There's like if you do a Venn diagram, the intersection part is not that big, but there are some songs that you could like mix and mash. But I mean, yeah, definitely like Indian music is so different. It's just like their philosophy, their approach to making like even just a beat is wildly different. But
100%.
nowadays it's kind of merging together, for better or for worse. Personally, I think it's for worse. It's just like it sounds really samey. So
Got it.
yeah.
That's fair. I'm the type of person who normally tries to not do things that I'm bad at
Right.
most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
This does not apply to singing. I'm
Yeah.
shit at singing, but I do it all the time because
Of
that shit makes
course.
you feel so good. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
of course. Music is such a magical thing. It doesn't like when you think about it objectively, it's like it's just sounds, but it's like why does it make you feel the way it makes you feel? Why does it like
100%.
bring up thoughts and memories and make you imagine things that it's like how? It's just a song, it's just audio, it's just sound waves, but how is it
Yeah.
making you do these things, right? It's like I don't know, it's just such a magical thing the way it evokes like thoughts and feelings in you that I mean, yeah. I encourage anybody and everybody to just always have music in your life in some way. And I imagine that like 90+% of people like already have music in their life in some way or another. And I mean, it's a great thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's no, shouldn't be lacking music in your life.
Oh yeah.
I've kind of contradicting my point here, but I've actually been trying to curb a bit off of music.
Really?
It sounds crazy,
Uh-huh.
but I've found that I literally run on it. I'm not saying this because like I don't like music that much. I'm just gonna try to stop listening to it. I mean, like I listen to hours of music every
Too
single
much?
day.
Oh, fair enough.
It can become a distraction.
For sure. Absolutely. Like if I put on like I actually listen to like a lot of different type of artists and music, but if I put on like just the right hype song in the middle of my work, I'm like, just rocking it. It's like can definitely distract you, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you lose a bit of focus. The covers though are good because we were talking about how like the instruments and the styles, like yes, they're merging together, but the like when I first heard Bollywood music, it didn't sound anything like what I've ever heard before. But you do a good job of actually like blending the two together.
Thanks. Yeah, I did this summer. I had a very light course load, so I focused more on my YouTube channel a bit, put out some nice high quality videos or just covers in my basement on a white wall. But yeah, I mixed, I don't know if you saw, I mixed some English and Bollywood songs together. Like I was saying, there's a small like intersection, but I tried to put some together, you know, get a best of both worlds. Some like the younger audience that are like my age, people that I know, they wouldn't like want to listen to a song from the 80s, but they'll recognize the song that I'm mixing it with from like, I don't know, last year or whatever, like from the 2010s, something they've heard before. So it's those songs are far like few and far in between so that you can mix together. But yeah, like these days, honestly, Bollywood music is kind of in a decline because I mean they're running out of ideas. Like the audience now, the primary audience is like they want songs they can listen to in the club. Like they want to dance to because that's like that's really booming right now. I mean,
Got it.
because the thing is, I mean, this is gonna sound terrible, but India loves copying America. So it's like in terms of culture and everything. Recently, they've started getting onto Halloween. So, I mean, I don't know. They should have a little bit of identity, but
Yeah.
topic for another day. But yeah, so they want club music, but whenever they try like making an original song that's a club song, like very few of them actually make it big and get viral and whatever. So what they've been doing a lot recently is they take the old songs that are popular with the parents and like the kids. They've heard it like while they grow up. They take those and remix it.
Got it.
So the parents now, they hate it because they know what the original's like. They're like, this sounds nothing like what it used to be, but they've taken it and done whatever they want with it. But then the young kids are like, yeah, I recognize the song. They got the bass, boom, boom, boom. Like, it's like, personally, like I said, I'm an old head on new shoulders, so I'm just like the parent side. I'm like, this song sounds ass.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it doesn't sound anything like the original. The original was such a complete different feeling, and now suddenly we've got, something that makes you want to jump up and down in a club. But I mean, yeah, styles, personally, I would prefer if they don't blend. They should have a little bit of originality in what the music they're creating in the industry right now. But I mean, I'm not in control, so if that's what the people want, apparently, then I guess what can we do?
That's
Just gotta live with it.
You say you're an old head on new shoulders. I
Yeah.
think I'd consider myself a little bit the same.
Yeah.
Are you a big partier or no? So when you're
no.
talking about these club songs, like they're playing it at the club, it sounds like you're just like, I do not care about that at all.
I mean, like, firstly, I don't really like, as a uni kid, like, I commute. So, I mean, it's like, I don't really go to a lot of student events, but I did go to one last week and it was like, they had a DJ and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, like, they had a lot, it was like an Indian, like a student association. So we went to that and I was having a good time. So it's like, depends on the song, but it's like half the songs is like about drinking and getting drunk and stuff like that. I'm like, maybe not so interesting anymore.
Fair.
Lose a little bit of energy, but then they play some nice throwback. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
That's fair. That's fair. So you're from Brampton.
Yes, I am.
My
town.
high school. Yeah, I went to high school in Brampton.
Oh yeah, which one?
It's a French school. It's called JSF, Jeunes Sans Frontières.
I think I've heard of it, but I mean, I went to like Peel Regional Public School, so.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know how close they are. I'd have to check a map. But
Yeah.
that's why I like the commute, because I am originally from Orangeville. It's a small town.
Oh yeah,
You know
Orangeville.
Orangeville is? I don't know. I always have to ask people. I don't know if they know
I
Orangeville.
know.
You know what
It's
I mean?
like 20, 30 minutes from my house.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, long commute to high school every day. Now
Mhm.
you got to deal with a commute from Brampton to Toronto.
Yes.
How is the commuter life different from what you'd
Ooh.
probably expect it to be on residence?
Yeah. I was actually talking to my sister about this a few days ago because I have a younger cousin. She's 15, so she's like, naturally, you're starting to think about what unis you need to apply to, which ones you want to go to and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I don't want to stay on res. I stayed on res for like 2 days for like a DECA conference like they do the provincials. She's like, I hated it so much. And then after, we were thinking, we were like, you need a very different mindset if you want to commute. You have to be very resilient, especially if you're going to be doing it for, I'd say, more than 2 to 3 days a week. Because, for example, like for me, let me run you through a commute that I was doing. So let's say I start in the morning from my house. I walk to the bus stop because I don't have a car, right? So if I did, it'd save me some time. But let's say I don't have it, right? So I walk to the bus stop about 10 minutes. Then I take the bus to the GO station, Bramley GO. That takes about an hour. And then from Bramley GO, I take the train. That's 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I take the subway from Union to Queen's Park, typically, maybe Museum or St. George. But that's another 10 minutes. So in total, my commute was 2 hours one way. Which is a long time. Whenever I tell people, they're like, how long is your commute? I'm like, 2 hours. They're like, oh, nice. They're like, both ways, right? I'm like, no, one way.
Yeah.
And then they're like, really? And you did that a lot. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you get used to it after a while, but, spending that much time on firstly, you can't study. So, I mean, it's really hard to, especially because there's a lot of people. But secondly, it's like to pass the time and still be in a mindset that you care about your classes once you get there after 2 hours.
Yeah.
You have to be resilient. You have to be focused once you get there. So, yeah, it's definitely takes a lot of adjusting, but you got to be ready for it if you're going to do it.
Can you make your travel time productive? Like, do you make your travel time productive?
When I've started, I tried very hard to. Like, I do as much work as I can with my laptop. But nowadays, I do absolutely nothing. I download some TV shows or YouTube videos if I have any.
No.
Right now I'm watching Breaking Bad. So
Best show of all time.
I finished Better Call Saul, so I was told to watch it in that order. So now I'm on Breaking Bad. Nice. But yeah, so nowadays it's like, even if I pull my laptop out, you know, at best I'll get 20 minutes of work done, 20 to 30 minutes of work done, because firstly it's going to take a while to get into that zone where I'm like, okay, I need to work, I need to be productive. But secondly, it's like you're surrounded by so many people, and it's like you don't really want to focus. You want to just chill out,
it's
get
hard,
to where you're going, and just like do it somewhere where either where you're alone or a place where you can focus. But on like the train, on the bus, it's absolutely impossible. Like the bus I take, 15 in Brampton Transit, nightmare, absolute nightmare. So I mean, it's hard to be productive, and so I've just given up in that aspect.
That's fair. That's completely fair. I feel like a lot of people struggle with focus nowadays.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if ADHD wasn't a problem before, I'm sure it is now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. Like it's actually a huge deal, because I think that how are you gonna control anything in the world? I heard a saying that was basically, you have no control over anything in the world except for your own mind.
Yeah.
So the idea that people are losing their focus means they're losing control over the entire world.
Yeah.
They can't affect anything.
Yeah.
What do you think would be, you said that you need to be resilient to be a commuter. You need to be able to know that once I'm off this train,
I've got to focus, and like once I get to my class, I got to lock in and pay attention.
Yeah.
Because either if I don't, then I'm going to have to redo everything and like watch it back when I go home or whatever. It's like, all right, once I get home from my commute home, I got to lock in and do my work, because if I don't, I'm just going to fall more and more behind, and I have to spend 4 hours per day commuting. So it's like you lose a lot of your time in that. So you really got to like be able to control your mind and say, okay, time to lock in, time to dial it up and get to work right now.
What do you think gets you to that state? Like, why can you do it, but some people struggle? Yes, you have 4 hours less than everyone else. You're kind of forced to be able to focus, right?
Yes, exactly.
But that part aside, like, what do you think you would give someone advice for when it comes to just making sure that you have, you know exactly what you need to get done?
Actually, one of my friends, he switched from residence to commuting just for this year because he couldn't find a place. So it's exactly what I told him. I told him, you know, if you can be productive on your commute, sure, you'll save some time once you get home, once you get to your class. But if you can't, you know, you got to really allot your time. You have to be like, okay, I'm going to spend this much time for fun. For me, it's like my commute there and commute back. That's the fun time for my day done, right?
Yeah.
Once I get home, I've used up all my fun hours, time to get to work, and then it's, you know, time for bed, right? Or if it's like I finish my work early, sure, I'll watch something or chill out for an hour and then go to bed, right? But you have to really be strict with yourself. If you can't control your own, like, wants and needs, right? Because, you know, you're like, okay, I need to eat dinner, so I can't count that for my work or my fun, right? I have to do that, right? If you're able to time manage yourself like that and keep yourself strict to that schedule, say, okay, I've had my fun time for the day, now I need to work for this many hours before I go to bed. If you can be strict with yourself and your own time while still considering your like personal feelings, if you're feeling tired, sure, you might need to adjust. But you need to be able to listen to yourself, your body, your mind, and you also need to be able to control it to, you know, keep yourself strict to a schedule of some sort. Otherwise, you know, it will eat you up slowly, bit by bit. By the time, like, you know, 2 weeks pass, you might be behind by 2 weeks fully. So you have to be really decisive, and you have to have full control over your thoughts, I guess.
Absolutely. I was talking to my girlfriend about this the other day. I was saying to her that I have a very personal process when it comes to resolving personal issues. Very vague. But I said to her, I was like, it's called the Carter-Ponce process of problem solving.
Okay. Nice name.
What is that? Carter-Ponce process of CPPPS.
Nice.
That's a fun acronym.
Great acronym.
And it's basically being an idiot. So I struggled with acne for a very long time. It still's on and off recently. Like I'm not as bad as I used to be, but you know, now and again it'll flare up, and I got to fix things. But it was a lot worse. And the way that I kind of curbed it down, a lot of people would go and research best products for acne, best like face washes. How do I deal with my pimples, whatever, right? Since I don't do that, and since I'm arrogant enough to think, nah, I can fix this myself.
Yeah.
Even though there's probably a bunch of research, a bunch of articles on what the thing I need is, I'm just going to figure it out. So I tried to locate any possible area of failure in my life that could be causing my acne.
Okay.
So maybe it was that I wasn't getting enough sleep. Okay.
Okay.
I'm only getting about 6 hours of sleep. Maybe I try to bump that up to 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I have to sleep at the same time every day.
Okay.
Get that out of the way. Maybe I'm eating too much sugar. I realize, I'm probably eating too much sugar. I'm going to cut that down. Maybe I need to wash my face. I didn't used to wash my face.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of dudes don't wash their face.
I don't.
No, that's not a thing. Dudes don't do that. You hop in the shower, some hot water, you're good.
Yeah, that's it. It's like this dude thing is like personal hygiene, yes, but I mean skincare. What's that?
Yeah. Skincare is quite feminine. I've just started to do it, so I'll allow myself that one, I guess, feminine trait. But so maybe
not a bad one though. Not a bad one.
Maybe I need to wash my face, so I started washing my face.
Mm.
What else? Maybe I'm not drinking enough water. Start chugging back more water. Little do you know, after doing all these things, I don't know which one fixed the acne.
Oh, right.
I don't know if it was the sleep. It could have been the sugar. It could have been the water.
Right.
Who knows? But by the end of it,
you were good.
Not only is my acne fixed, but now I have perfect sleep. I'm healthier overall because I don't eat sugar. Clean because I wash my face.
Yeah.
And so many other problems you can fix in your life by just being an arrogant idiot and just thinking like whatever it is, I gotta fix every issue.
Right.
Maybe I'm too stressed, maybe I need to talk to my family.
Yeah.
And just like how this could all contribute to acne. Once again, it's very stupid.
It works.
It works in a very grand way, I
Yeah.
feel. I don't know how that was applying to what you were talking about.
But no, I mean, it's a great philosophy. I mean, if you have a problem, fix all your problems.
That's the thing. I guess so that's when it came to focus.
Right.
So with time management, I feel like it could also apply. Why am I not focused? Why am I managing my time bad? Is it maybe I'm watching too much TikTok? Maybe I'm not getting enough sleep. Right. All these things. So I think that just looking at your life and comparing it to what do you want your dream state to be, you can kind of see where you're falling behind.
Definitely. If you're able to objectively look at your the various aspects of your life, but you have to look at it objectively, right?
Very objectively.
Yeah. If you don't do that, then obviously you're not going to be able to make significant change. But if you look at it objectively, like, okay, realistically, I should not be spending 4 hours playing video games every day if I want to keep up with my work. So then you if you're able to actually put your feelings aside for a bit and just look at it as if you're somebody else, then definitely that'll help you with time management. And I mean, I learned all of these ways to make my commute the healthiest for my mind and my work. I only learned those things by doing it a lot. Let me give you an example. Last semester, my second year fall semester, I had classes from 9 to 2. There were some gaps in between and whatever, but every single day, Monday to Friday, 9 to 2. So I would show up 9 o'clock and leave at 2 o'clock. And my commute for that was messed up, by the way. I'd have to get up at 5:45 every single day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And while coming home, my commute was even more different. It wasn't the train and the bus. I would take the subway all the way northbound to Vaughan Metropolitan Center. From there, I would take a bus, York Regional Transit, to the Vaughan Mills. From there, my mom's work commute is on the way. So she'd pick me up from Vaughan Metropolitan Center. But she wouldn't drive me home. She'd be like, do me a favor, son, just drive me home. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So every single day, I'd then drive myself home, essentially. So that's 6 different modes of public transport.
Yeah.
Every single day, 5 days a week. And I'll tell you what, that is the lowest state that I've ever been in, mentally. And, it was horrific. I was getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep every day. I was spending so much time not at home to do my work and stuff. And so when that winter semester came around, in between, I went to India for a family trip.
Nice.
For the first time in 10 years. That was my light bulb moment. I had an eye-opening experience about life, because it was a culture shock going there. Everybody approaches work, chores, whatever, in such a different way that when I went there and I spent 2 weeks doing absolutely nothing, I'm you know what? Maybe I don't have to go 5 days a week, even if I have classes 5 days a week. So then from then on, I realized I'm my mental state is so important, because by the end of by exam season, I was probably if you did a diagnosis, I was probably depressed or something, because it was not good. And my family noticed, but they're he's going 5 days a week. We can't even change that, right? It's school.
Yeah.
It's necessary. But I had that objective look on my own life. I'm okay, school is important, but I can't sacrifice myself, my behavior, my mental state, my my behavior with my family and stuff like that. So by the winter semester, what I did was I watched as many online lectures as I could, skipped whatever I could. I really brought down the importance I put on my university. And, you know, it helped a lot. And I mean, I'm following that same sort of philosophy now. And that's why I'm able to say things like, you know, you got to be good at time management. You got to be resilient. And that I only learned these things the hard way. But yeah, objectively looking at your life, like that eureka moment I had in the winter break, having those and being able to do that is also very important for, I guess, anything really. It doesn't have to be commuting or anything like that. But yeah, I guess that's a good life lesson. Something positive out of the podcast today.
Absolutely. There you go. Leave a like.
Please.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. Like, you seem like a very productive person. You seem like an ambitious person. Like, you wouldn't do the music if you weren't ambitious about it. You wouldn't be at U of T probably. I feel like a lot of U of T people are at least ambitious about school, right? But overall, I mean, you seem like an ambitious person. So when you say, like, you need to draw back on certain things, like, you know, online lectures, all this type of stuff, get your mental state fixed, I can listen to you and I know that, like, you mean what you say because you're not using that as, like, a crutch. I feel like a lot of people would kind of, I think it's good to be hard on yourself. I think it's good to hold yourself to a high standard always. But then once again, if you're just being unproductive, if you're holding yourself to such a high standard that you're not getting anything done, then what's the point? What's the point?
You have to, like, what's the word? You, like, for me personally, I always try and, like, give my 100% on everything I do, right? But given that, you also have to be able to manage expectation. That's very important. Like, for me, I was trying to give my 100% in work and my, like, my work-life balance, I guess, right? So I was trying to give 100% in both. Then I realized that it's not possible, right? It's like something's going to have to give.
It's a fine line, though, yeah.
Yeah, something's going to have to compromise. And so, you know, I started managing expectations like, okay, I can't get hundreds on everything in school, right? Because then I also need to, like, have a good state of mind. So put some compromises in both places, and now I'm in a much better place.
That's good. That's good. How would you, like, tell someone, because sometimes you'll see someone who is managing those expectations to an extreme degree, you know what I mean? Where you can clearly tell they're not given 100%. Right. And they've brought the bar so low so that their life is extremely easy. How would you, like, tell someone, like, how do you make that judge? Like, you don't want to be too high as to where you're, like, failing, but then you also don't want to bring yourself too low to where there's no challenge in your life.
Yeah, so I guess that would come down to ambition, right? Like, for me, like you mentioned, you know, I have passion for music. I'm doing that as, like, a side hustle. Yeah. But it's like I'm doing that on the side, you know, something that keeps me going, something that's passionate about. But in the same time, I want to be successful. I want to achieve things in my degree and, you know, get something out of them, make my career after or during during this degree. So I think that the way you set that bar is really dependent on what you want, where you want to see yourself. Like, for me, I want to see myself with a degree, nice job where I love the work there. You know, I love what I'm doing. I'm making a meaningful impact like I want to. But I also want to see myself with like a music career or something. I don't expect to be no Post Malone, Justin Bieber or anything. But, you know, I want to be able to make music just even if nobody's listening. I want to make music for myself. I want to make my own music, cover other songs that I really like. You know, that's what I want to see myself in 5-10 years, you know, making music, but also in a good career. So that's why I hold myself to a standard that's not as high as it used to be, but high enough that I'm like, okay, I can still achieve the goal in my career, but I can also achieve my goal as a musician or an artist. So your ambitions, I think, would determine where you set that bar for yourself.
That's awesome. If you got approached by, like, a record label and they were like, Hrid, we can't use your real name as your artist name. You need a cover name. What are you choosing?
Okay. Well, this is going to sound like a bit of an inside joke, but basically a long time ago, my sister, she called me, like, Bebe Urs, which is like baby bear. Okay. Right? Because there's that emoji, right? Yeah. So that was a long time ago, like 7 years ago. But ever since then, to this day, my sister calls me Bebe. Like, nice. Because she's older than me by 2 years. Yeah. And sometimes, like, just out of, like, fun, right? She's like, oh, Bebelicious. Okay. Right? It's like, I don't know, like, different, like, variations on the words. So I'm like, you know, if I was ever, like, a rapper or something like that, probably go with Bebelicious.
Bebelicious. Yeah. That's a good one.
It's pretty unique. So I'm like, and I guess I just revealed the lore. So maybe in 5-10 years, people watch this back. It's like, oh, that's where it came from.
Bebelicious' OG podcast, his original day one before he was famous.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to rebrand the thumbnail and everything. Bebelicious at U of T. That's funny. Have you gotten to a point with your sister where it's like, because I don't have any older siblings, period. I don't have sisters either. I feel like there would come an age where when you're a kid, you kind of look up to your older sister. You know what I mean? It's like she's older than you, and you're the second child. But like I feel like there would come an age where you almost feel older than her in a sense where it's like you have the job to protect her, look out for her in that sense. Whereas before, when you were younger, it's the older sister who looks after the younger brother. Do you think you're getting near that age? Has it already happened? Has it not happened yet? Like, do you feel a sense of protection where it's like you need to care for your sister? Like almost in a sense where like as you get older, it's your parents who are looking after you, but the older they get, you start to have to look after them.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. Yeah. Honestly, my sister's like 2 years older than me, like 1 year and 10 months technically. So we're actually pretty close in age. And like whenever we were like, as growing up, like my parents never treated us like all the time like, oh, she is your older sister, you have to always give respect. Like we were always like treated mostly like the same age, unless it was something like she's older than you have to make sure you respect her that way too, right? Stuff like that, right? But generally growing up, we've always felt like we're the same age. Like nothing.
It's like a duo.
Yeah, like a duo. Like everything we do, we always try and do it together. Even to this day, like even our family friends and them, they're like, something I really like about you two, you both the most is that you guys always stick together. And that's like we have like a camaraderie that's like we're almost inseparable. But like obviously we have our personal lives and stuff. But I mean, me and my sister, we're really close. Like I mean, shout out to my parents too. But I think I'm closer with my sister than I am with them. To be honest,
that's fair. I think that would make your parents happy. I think all parents want their siblings want their kids who are siblings to be best friends.
Just as close. Like honestly, I look at like my cousins and them. Like we're pretty close with them too. But I mean, I see their sibling like bonds, and it's like they're close. But I don't think anything matches up with me and my sister. So I guess shout out to my sister Dristy. Love you.
That was
wholesome.
I love hearing that, man. I love hearing that because like family's so important. I emphasize it on the podcast a lot how important family is, and everything you do in life should be at least somewhat directed towards improving the lives of your loved ones and your significant others.
And I guess relating to what you're saying about like feeling like protecting her, I feel like as we've grown older, like I'm 20 now, she's 22. So like we're like adults, right? But I mean like recently, especially after I'd say lockdown and COVID, like we've sort of grown into like a more mature like relationship in the sense that we're like we each give each other a shoulder to lean on in the case that anything happens. It's like we're feeling down, but it's like we're feeling so down about something that's like if I tell my parents, they're gonna freak out, they're gonna stress, they're gonna like constantly obsess over how can we fix this for my daughter or my son. Yeah. We tell those things only to each other because it's like they'll get me, right? They're somebody who understands my perspective.
You don't want to worry your parents too much.
Exactly. Yeah. So these type of things, like whenever we have something really challenging, it's like no matter what it is, we'll talk to each other about it if it's something really serious. And it's like the camaraderie is like never ending. Like, we fight a lot, of course, we're siblings. But I mean, at the end of the day, give it a few hours, we'll be talking like it's never happened. So it's like exactly everlasting.
That's exactly what it is. With me and my brother, there's definitely a few, I guess, fight scenes we can remember where it's like there's like 3 or 4 of them that were like super intense.
Yes, of course.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't like the grudge doesn't last longer than like the rest of the day.
Exactly. Like,
you know what I mean? Sleep it off and you guys are best friends again.
The next day you'll be having breakfast, having a laugh again. Exactly. So it's fine.
Exactly.
That's a very desirable quality, which I think that every parent would want for their kids. And I mean, being brought up as like the same age for the most part, right? I think that really helped, and that's why we're like best friends. I never tell her that. She's like, "You're my best friend," right? I'm like, I'm your best friend, not the other way around. Yeah. So I just tease her like that, but we're definitely best friends.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I'm going to be seeing my brother soon. Gonna meet back up for reading week.
Oh, yeah. My sister, she commutes as well. She actually set the path.
Perfect.
She paved
the way.
Did she go to U of T? No, she's doing her, she's doing optometry school, post-grad.
Oh, yeah.
So she goes to Waterloo. And you might be asking, how does she commute to Waterloo? Well, she gets dropped off at Bramley Go because like my parents, one of them is going to work at the time that she needs to leave anyway. Yeah. So she saves herself an hour that hour you spend on the bus.
Got it.
But so still. She manages. She prefers it. She was thinking about residence because Waterloo's kind of far. Yeah. But she manages, and now here we are. She set the way to commute. She used to go to Mac, so that was like doable 2-hour commute as well. Yeah. Paved the way for me to commute, and now here we are.
That's good. Yeah. I saw your most viewed song is with her.
Which one? Actually,
on the cover. Is that her?
Oh, yes, that is her. Johnny John. That is an 70s classic. It's one of the most popular Bollywood songs probably of all time, to be honest. But that was the algorithm helping me out, and it was insane.
That's awesome. And I think that because I also did a few podcasts. I have one with my cousin. Mm-hmm. One with my cousin, and a clip of it on TikTok blew up recently. And it was like I love having these kind of achievements be with my family. So I love that it's me and my cousin that get to share that that kind of virality. And I'd have to think that it's the same thing for you. Like I
definitely.
Bet.
I think one of the cameras, maybe.
Yeah, one of the cameras. I'll just finish this bit.
Yeah.
I think it's better. I think that you prefer that the video that blew up was with you and your sister, not one of just you. You know. So yeah, we were just saying how you and your sister started in music together. Like you were in lessons together. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how did it grow from there? Like your relationship?
Yeah. So as I said, like me and my sister, we grew up like as equals. So we started our music journey, whatever it was, as equals. My dad would treat us both equally. Yeah, I was younger, but yeah, it was like, okay, we're gonna sing this song. Either you guys will sing a song together, or you'll do a song. If a guy can sing it, like it's not a girl specific or whatever song, then we'll both sing it, and we'll have separate videos on them both. So it was always everything together. If we go to lessons somewhere, we do it together, either separate slots or at the same time if possible. So our music journey started together, and then seeing that, like that's why we do videos together as much as we can if it's like a duet song. And yeah, that video, when it blew up, it felt so nice. Like it's like I think the most view videos for my and her channels combined. And it's a great song. It's one of the most popular songs in Bollywood of all time, as I said. And yeah, it's like seeing that video blow up and just having that fact that it's not a personal achievement, it's a shared achievement, especially with someone like my sister, because it's like we don't try and one up each other. It's like we are in this together. Even though we're doing separate music, separate channels, we're in it together. If we can help out, we help out. She's making some of her own music on Spotify and stuff, so I help her with that, some of the mixing, some of the ideas. She helps me out with that type of stuff too. So it's like everything we do is together, but we have separate paths, right? Yeah. But like we try and have them, intertwined as much as possible, because it's like we have each other to help, support, make things better, do better ideas. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do a duet song, for example, at all. Yeah. So that video blowing up was like sort of like a testament to what we're capable of, and like what type of content we want to create, what kind of songs we want to do. And yeah, that song, the first milestone, hitting 10K, that video hit 10K on her birthday. So it was like very, I guess destiny has a funny way of doing things sometimes. So yeah, that felt very nice. And I mean, it still kept going. This summer went crazy again. That's cool. So yeah, the algorithm's helping out, but I'm very glad it's something that I did with my sister. That's really cool.
Do you think that it's up to the parents to kind of like foster that relationship between siblings? I feel like if you asked, hopefully this doesn't upset parents. Parents don't watch this anyways. My mom watches this, but like I don't think that many parents are watching this. But I feel like kids in a very, I guess, good household where the whole family is tight might even know more about good parenting than parents who have kids, who actually have kids, but aren't like having the siblings connect at all. Yes. Like, you know what I mean? Yes. Like I feel like you and me, we're close with our siblings. I feel like we know a lot more about what it takes to kind of foster that relationship. Yeah, exactly. Do you think that it's the parents' job?
I think one big thing that I've noticed, at least with other families that I see often, is like age gap can make a big difference, of course, because it's like how relatable can you be with your siblings, right? True. So me and my sister being really close, that naturally paved the way for like us having a camaraderie that's like equal, right? It's like it was very easy for that to sort of come up. But yeah, if let's say we were 3 years, 4 years apart, I think it would be like the parents, I don't want to say job, but I mean, it's like if they wanted to, they could obviously nudge it. So it's like, okay, you guys are going to do things together. You're going to go, let's say you're going to do swimming lessons. You guys are going to do it together. You guys are going to go watch a movie. Okay, you're going to do it together, right? It's like, because the more time you spend, like if there's an age gap, right? It's like, you're not going to have common interests until like you both become adults, right? Because that's when things will merge a little bit more. But as kids, when you're growing up, your interests can be like wildly different. I think the parents' job, I almost said job again. The parents could sort of like make a nudge, encourage them to spend more time together. That way they'll have some experiences in common, if not interests in common. Yeah. And so down the line, that'll pay dividends by like having a closer relationship between their kids.
Absolutely. I agree. I completely agree. I'm looking forward to having kids myself. I don't know about you. Are you do you want a family one day or no?
Oh, absolutely. But single, ready to mingle. What else can I say?
There you go. Hit him up. What's the Instagram?
__Hrid. Just you'll probably find me on the Voices of Vic Instagram.
There we go. We'll tag in some clips for sure. Hit him up for sure. There's also a link tree to all his music, so hit that up as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another thing I want to talk to you about. I'm super interested in business, if you don't already know, even though I shit on business all the time. I love business, all right? It's a weird balance. It's like a love-hate relationship, you know what I mean? You apparently smoked some business kids in this DECA thing.
Yes. Okay, so...
What is that?
So DECA...
Give like a background, to everyone who doesn't know.
Okay, so DECA, technically it's an international competition for business. They have various different events and various aspects of business, like marketing or okay, I forget because I haven't done it in a while. But there's a bunch of different areas, and basically it's a competition. So there's 3 levels. Regionals is like small areas, like for example, here in Canada, Brampton North might be a region, for example, right? So there's different regions, and there's the 3 levels would be regionals, Brampton North. Then there's a provincial competition that happens here in downtown. They go to the Sheraton, book out almost the whole thing. I think maybe half of it. They take the conference hall 3 days, and you do like a provincials competition, and that's with anybody in Ontario. You compete with them, and then from there's an international conference. If you're good enough, you'll qualify for that, and then there you compete for the same thing. It's like the same. Category that you do from the beginning is the same one you do till the end. There's some modifications at each level, but yeah. And the international one, they go to like crazy places. Like you can go to Florida, Orlando. They'll pay for your tickets in like Disney World and stuff. Like you have to pay to get there, but all the activities they'll pay for it. If you go, sometimes they take you to California, so they'll take you to Disney World, Universal Studios, whatever. They'll pay for those tickets and stuff. So it's like once you get to international, it's like whoa, that's the place you want to be. Like you've done something.
So what was your category? Like what did you compete in?
So in my category, it was called EIB.
Also, when was this? How old are you?
This is high school, so grade 11.
Okay.
Yeah, it's grade 11 and grade 12 too, but that was in COVID times. They were still running, but everything was virtual.
Got it.
But yeah, so I was in grade 11. We did EIB, which is I don't remember exactly what it stands for. It's like entrepreneurship, something. Yeah. And you create a business to solve a problem, and you just flesh it out, 20-page report, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be our investors. This is how we're gonna operate. This is our business model. Whatever. 20-page report. That's what it's on, right? So in that category in general, you don't have to do regionals. Back in that day, there used to be like an exam. It's like a very general exam. It's like if you get over 75. Your whole group on average, you'll go to provincials. So you'll come downtown, you'll stay at the Sheraton for 3 days, and you'll compete for provincials. So this is the part where I dunk on people. I actually did 3 years, grade 10, 11, and 12. In grade 10, I was just like, oh, what is this DECA thing? Completely fluked into provincials, which, by the way, some people that I know, they're like fully business kids, okay? They're like, that's their entire outlook is on business. They didn't make provincials.
Are these guys, so on different teams?
Yeah, like different, there's like, in our school chapter, in my high school, there was about 200 kids that were signed up.
Is it individual or is it like a group?
Depends on the category. So my category was in a group. I was with 2 of my friends.
Nice. Were they business or are they like?
They were also engineering kids. That's all. It's a big dunk, huh?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So like,
they didn't see you as a threat. They're like,
exactly, right?
This Bollywood kid. What does he know about business?
Right. Yeah. So in grade 11, 12, we dunked on them by going to provs.
Nice.
That's just the first part. We got to provs. Like business kids sometimes don't make it to provs. But in grade 10, as a solo engineering kid, I guess you could say, dunked on a couple business kids and made it to provs that year too, right? So provs is like the first step. It's like, oh, you got there, cool. You know a little bit of what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Which is sad because some business kids don't make it that far. It's like, wow, are you sure you're in the right field? Anyway, but in grade 11, me and my group, we went to provs. We did in that one, you take your report and you have to present it to a judge. So it's the same report, but you do a presentation. It's I think 12 or 15 minutes. We qualified top 10 from everybody there. So we qualified to go to Tennessee that year. That's where it was set that year. So dunked on a lot of business kids, like qualifying for ICDC, the international conference. Yeah. And the thing is, the next year in COVID, we did it again. Same group. So that's 3 times I've been to provs and twice that I was invited to the international competition. I qualified for that, but I never actually went for ICDC at any point because of COVID. Very sad.
So what were these business ideas? I'm sure everyone's waiting to hear. What did you come up with?
One of them was innovative parking solution.
Okay.
So it's like the best way I always describe it is like Uber for parking.
Rotman, listen up.
Listen up. This is, if you take these ideas, I hope I get a cut in the patents and stuff. But yeah, so the first time
Babylicious is going to be coming forward.
Yeah, Babylicious is coming. So the first year was like Uber for parking, and then the next year in grade 12 we did we knew the business model was working clearly.
So wait, Uber for parking, yeah, like what
Basically, it was like an app, and it's like you like business vendors, if they have extra parking spots that they're not using, you sign up on the app, you say, okay, here I have these spots available, they're not used, this is the rate, and then people can just book their parking spots from the app. Those kind of things exist now.
Yeah.
Back in that day, it wasn't really a thing, so it was kind of innovative.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the next year we did Uber for moving. That was my personal idea.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, but when you think about it, it's okay. The business model made sense because it was also COVID time, so it's like in our report, I remember mentioning it's like, you know, people, they don't have cars to move stuff. You have to rent a U-Haul, stuff like that. And it's like movers, you know, it's like they charge by the hour, or sometimes they charge by like the amount of stuff they're taking, right? So it's like in this business model, it's like much more simplified. You talk directly with the mover, you tell them how much stuff you need, and then they'll give you a rate, whatever. All app-based, same business model, but we sort of adapted it for the idea.
Yeah.
Worked again. It was like, and that was actually the third time we used the same business model. The year before me, one of my partners, he was with other people. Same business model.
Nice.
So that for him, it was a three-peat, man. Like that business model was dunk on everybody. But yeah, we really showed the business kids. It's like, you know, you don't really have to be skilled to do business, to be honest. It's like if you're in business, you might as well try something else. You know, it's like engineering kids, med kids, you can fall back on business. But business kids, you can't fall back on science. You can't fall back on engineering, can you?
That's true.
Yeah.
What do you say to people with like an entrepreneurship kind of spirit? Like, I feel like entrepreneurship, it does not pertain to any one program, any one sector.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are science kids who have this like ambition, you know, there are psychology students who have this ambition. Yeah. It surprises me that isn't linked to business.
Yeah. I'd say like, I don't know, the way I perceive it, it's like business or entrepreneurship, for example, it's so like, it can apply to so many things. It's like the amount of stuff you actually need to know for, let's say, a business degree to be specifically in business is like maybe here. Right. But to like know the things you need to know as an engineering or computer science kid is like up here. And I'd say med kid is even higher. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like for business, it's like there's not that much, I guess, like knowledge that's unique to business. You know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That's why I was confused. Like people would tell me when I was in high school, I'd hear of like people a few years older than me, and they'd say, yeah, I went to school for business. I'm like, what do you mean you went to school for business? Isn't everything business?
Exactly, right?
Like, isn't the whole world business? What do you mean just business? I thought you went for something else, and then you went into business with that.
Exactly. Business is like, so much of it just applies to like everyday life. It's like, the way I think about it is like business is just common sense plus a little extra, right? It's like, it's so applicable to everyday life. It's like, as long as you've lived a life and you've seen things, heard things, done things, you can apply yourself to business in any shape or form. It really doesn't matter.
That's fair. Yeah. That's a fair point. You're sounding a lot like me.
Yeah, no, obviously this is like I said, dunking on the business because it's so fun. And the fact that I've achieved something in that space is great. Love it. And the thing is, I know business kids. Yeah. If they hear this, they'll know I'm talking about them, but who am I to care?
Did you make enemies? Did you make business enemies?
Oh yeah, definitely. The craziest thing was that's like, even like in my high school, the business kids wouldn't qualify for ICDC. Yeah. It's like they wouldn't qualify for international, but it's like, this is your thing. How am I doing your thing better than you?
That's tough.
So yeah, definitely, I don't know, indirectly, definitely made some enemies, but directly, I mean, I was always surrounded by people that are like me, so I wasn't really known to many business kids at all.
That's fair. Should have dropped a diss track on them.
Diss track season is gone, though, unfortunately. That era of YouTube was golden.
Boxing now.
Oh yeah, YouTube boxing is huge now. But I mean, hey, who's to stop them?
No, I think it's great.
Yeah,
it's like better than diss tracks for sure. It's a little more, you know, like
skilled,
manly, skilled. Yeah,
there's more skill. Diss track is like easy. Just record yourself on a YouTube beat.
Exactly. And there's more at stake with boxing. You know.
Yeah, it's like you're actually putting yourself like at risk. There's a risk and there's a reward. Diss track is like you know, very small barrier to entry, and it's like
it's just yapping. It's just talking.
Yeah,
that's not like, I don't know. That's like, it's childish.
It is childish, but I mean, that was kind of the time. I don't blame anybody for it. It made YouTube very popular too.
It did lead us to boxing. That is
eventually. Yeah,
I think people were tired of just chatting. Shit, and they're like, all right, now we're gonna fight.
We're
gonna fight. That's cool.
Square up right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
This has been a good talk.
That has been a great talk. I've definitely enjoyed talking about so many wholesome and like deep thoughts that you would tend to have by yourself. But no, it's been nice.
Dived into a lot, covered a lot of topics. We did started with dissing you about CS. No offense, just had to diss everyone.
It's fair. Absolutely fair.
I just get a sense of some guests, like when they come in, it's like, all right, this guy can take a joke.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can. If you can dish out the joke, you got to be able to take it.
Exactly.
all fair.
Absolutely. So we covered that. Covered Decca. That was great. You know, we covered your music.
Absolutely. Stream me on Spotify. Just Hrid Patel. Yeah, listen to it. I did. Let me just quickly mention. I did a remix in the summer of one of my songs with a fellow U of T student. We know each other from high school. That one goes pretty hard. His verse goes really good.
What's his name?
DJ Perfect is his stage name.
Shout out
DJ Perfect if you're listening. Shout out. He came to my house. We recorded it. Great fun.
There you go.
It was a great guy.
Hit it up on Spotify. Hrid Patel. It's Hrid with an H.
Yes, Hrid with an H.
Do you have any final thoughts for the viewers here today?
Not really. I've really enjoyed my time. I don't know if you guys do repeat guests, but I'd love to be here. Maybe we'll do a karaoke sesh live on podcast someday.
That would be dope. I think people might want to see that. That'd be sick.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we can talk a lot more about Bollywood music, as you can tell. Big part of my life too.
Absolutely. I think we were doing repeats like second semester.
Oh yeah,
so we'll trickle it out then. But
no,
it's been a good talk.
Looking forward to it.
I'd like to have you back.
All right.
Awesome,
nice
man.
to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's VoV podcast. Hrid Patel. Like the interview. It was amazing. And follow on Instagram and TikTok at Voices of Vic. YouTube. Subscribe. And we will see you next Sunday.
See you guys.
Peace out.